Good afternoon. Welcome to KCL Get Seen, the KCL Advantage for manufacturers. I'm Kevin Coachman. We're going to take you on a little tour of different features and functions that KCL offers to manufacturers. Thank you for joining us today. So a couple slides we're just going to show up on the screen. This is what we like to see, and hopefully this makes you as manufacturers more comfortable too, from one of our end user design firms, that we're the trusted source. We like hearing that phrase, and we deal with some large manufacturers that we're their trusted source of CAD and Revit data as well. Even one of our manufacturers, anytime we get a positive quote, we want to be able to use that elsewhere. And you can see this one from Myco USA, that they like the reports and working with us. So hopefully you find it easy and helpful as well. Our goal is to get you what we call a premium listing in KCL. And the premium listing is not an extra fee. It's the ability to list all the proper materials to help designers, dealers, consultants, architects, chains. So one of those tools is supplying your sales team with KCL Napkin Sketch. They can use KCL to design simple layouts that are dimensionally correct to work with the dealers and consultants. We give you the ability to put the information on your website. We'll take a look at that. The majority of our manufacturers use KCL embedded hosting to share the CAD and Revit files that they have. Something that's relatively new is our usage reports. And again, as you saw from the quote, one of the manufacturers really likes that. We'll talk a little more about that later. And we've got some new functions to talk to you about, as well as additional features. So KCL, my dad and I, Ron Coachman, actually started in 1985. A picture of him from FE&S magazine. Excuse me. Ron was a food service consultant dating back to the 60s. I helped him with his tech that was available in the 70s and 80s. We came out with KCL services, and here we are now. We work with a lot of manufacturers. We store a lot of data. This is just a short list of a few manufacturers, small US brands to global manufacturers. Your typical listing has spec sheets, CAD blocks, Revit families. We want to use doc links or those supporting documents, and we'll show you that too. We partner with MOFSI for the Rep Connect if you work with MOFSI reps. We also work with Energy Star, and we'll show that as well. You can include videos, list pricing, and again, we have new functions we're working on that will show you a little sneak peek of some things. So KCL is used around the world. And we'll talk about the user base in a little bit, but we have the ability to get your data in front of a lot of people, whether it's the mobile app that's free, whether it's your website, or KCL just as a demo version where people don't have to pay, but they can still access your data. One big difference between KCL and almost any other food service software company that we're aware of is we provide a site license to each company, not per seat. So the consultant, the dealer, even you, the manufacturer, you pay KCL one fee. You can run it on as many computers in the office or at home as you need to, remote use included. This is just a comparison of our KCL desktop or BIM CAD designer along with KCL Web, and that the desktop program for Windows has all the cool functions. We don't need to go through them, but that is our most popular platform right now. But we do offer a web-based version for Windows and Mac users that have all the data, just like the mobile app has all the data, but not all the additional functions. This is just a screenshot of our BIM CAD designer, and you can see by looking on the right side, you see AutoCAD blocks, top view, front view, 3D, as well as the Revit and a side view. At the bottom of the window, you can see pictures, spec sheets, and even product specs. That's what we're talking about in your listing, is in giving us as much data as you can to make sure you're easily visible and sharing the right data with the designers. Your listing in KCL includes KCL Mobile. KCL Mobile is free to anyone in the world, not just paid subscribers. It's a great tool when you're in the field to look up your information. We have service providers that use it with an iPad. They can look up your manuals if you've provided the links. We're not trying to replace anything you're doing with your manuals or videos. We want to enhance the visibility through the KCL platform. So we use the word premium listing over and over, and this is just a kind of a zoomed in example of what we were talking about earlier. You've got 2D and 3D CAD files that follow KCL and industry standards. Revit files, either they're following the FCSI USA or the IFSC BIM standard. That's important because many manufacturers try to send us Revit files that they exported from their modeling application, and those files just are not good to use in Revit. They work, but they're not good. So we want you to put your best face forward. Spec sheets, cut sheets, depend on the terminology you use, pretty standard. Product specs, we actually can let you list up to 4,000 characters. Some manufacturers like to include a longer specification. Again, short spec is what most manufacturers do. It's important to include a picture. Users run that in our spec book. Users can download those files for their own use as well. So when a designer comes to KCL, they're able to access additional information. We also want to look at including manuals and product videos. I'm going to just flip over to the KCL program and look at a couple of examples. So one of our newer manufacturers is Broster, and I can see here they have specs, spec sheet and picture, but on the right side towards the bottom, I have a link that takes me right out to their manual. That's very handy when they're running the desktop or mobile application. If I click on a blog post they have, this takes me right out again to their website where this is information they want to share. You're able to store that in KCL with just a URL link. So if you happen to update anything on this page, we'll take them to the latest version. We also have videos. I'm just going to click on one more here. Now with YouTube, I have to go through my free preview that I get or ad. And now I can see the video. And those doc links are also tracked on the usage report. So you'll be able to see who was using your doc links. You also have the ability in KCL to put languages and region codes in so that if you want certain model numbers to show up for USA, others to be Europe, we can help you with that. If you have your data available in Spanish or French or other languages, we can help you with that. This is just an example of what the filters look like to change what you're working on. So as KCL becomes more used globally, we want you to make sure the right information's out there and available. Something that's new is called KCL Private Label. And this is kind of cool that you can make private label items available to specific users. And I'm going to show you in KCL as we call super administrator, we get to show all sorts of things. But if I'm in the Pride-centric buying group and I hit our filter button, there's a new filter for Pride-centric. And it shows their manufacturers. When I click in the list, now I'm looking at their preferred suppliers. There's a reminder that I have the Pride filter on. If you're part of other buying groups and would like to see those listed as filters, let us know. We'll be happy to work with the buying groups. We also have the ability, on a similar note, to go in here and say, I want to look at Quintera. Quintera is a Trimark only brand. The idea is we show a color to let you know it's a little bit different. but only the Trimark users see this. So if you have particular items that you'd like to make available to specific groups of users, please let us know. We can talk to you about what is currently possible. But Trimark really wants their people to use some of their in-house brands, and they want the CAD and Revit files available. One more example is on a similar level here. We have a Commenda Ali and an Ali Commenda. The Commenda Ali is public for everyone to see, but the Ali Commenda is for a very specific group of Ali Commenda users with their own listing. And again, this is all tracked, so we're able to help you know if people are using these functions or tools. Earlier, we showed filters that you can also take equipment and have it listed for specific industries. So we have filters for industries, we have filters for language, and filters for country, filters for buying groups. You're able to tailor the data that you provide to KCL via an Excel file with different codes. In the future, we're looking at the possibility of partnering with UL, NSF, and CE to allow those as filters as well. So KCL goes back to the 80s, AutoCAD. Back in the, I'll say, early 2000s, Revit. We've had spec sheets for decades. Well, then we introduced a new tool called Napkin Sketch. Again, that is unique to KCL, and anyone can use this, from the manufacturer salesperson to the DSRs to the manufacturer reps, to create a simple napkin type drawing. And you can see 2-dimensional views or 3-dimensional views. Coming this year, we have a Napkin Sketch 2.0 that's going to be better, faster, and more powerful. These are nice 3Ds, but the new 3D that's coming is just incredible. Users or manufacturers can take these Napkin Sketch drawings and save them as AutoCAD or even back to KCL for use with Revit. So not only do we have this simple to use design tool, we have a migration path for you or the users to take those files to other programs. Embedded hosting, mentioned that earlier. Here's just a couple examples where you can see Advanced Tabco and Hatco have it. I'm just going to pop it on the screen to show you that now. If I go over to the Hatco website, one of the ways to link in under resources is CAD Revit. That opens up a custom version of KCL for Hatco. Here it shows me my local rep, thanks to MOFSI. We have a link to Safesa. We'll talk about that a little bit later. The data that Hatco's provided, including utility information, is here. And now I can mouse over and download or email. If I hit email, I can tell it which files I want to include in my email. And you can always attach a note. So this is great for visitors coming to your website. They can see this information. They don't have to know who KCL is, and they can download what they need. One other way to link in, if you have a little more sophisticated or product-driven website, I can go through True Products. We'll do milk cooler, pick a model, and on their product page, they have a link. The difference between Hatco and True is True will send me directly to that model that I was looking at. There's my Energy Star logo. I can download files. I can even change my search. Now I can see all the TMC 34s or clear it and see everything. So our goal is to give you tools that you can use to make it easy for people to find your data. We also collaborate with companies US and European so that you can import and export from a user standpoint data between these different programs. So some of these applications do not have the tools that KCL has or the data. Others, like auto quotes, People import and export the data all the time on the user level. And again, we don't charge extra. We want your data to move around with the user as they'd like it. So I mentioned Cefesa. That's a new collaboration. Energy Star and RepConnect. Let's go take a quick look. If I'm looking at a manufacturer, I'm going to choose AccuTemp. In the bottom right corner, if there's a MOFC rep in my area, it knows that we're in Orlando. Now, if there's not a rep, it just shows the logo. They might not have a MOFC rep in the area. So I just picked Chicago because I know they don't have one there. It just doesn't show one. If I'm using the KCL tools anywhere and I hit Cefesa, that opens me right up to their directory page. During the NAFM show, we had users tell us they're already excited about that because they get phone calls every week or two asking about service. Now they have an easy way to find it, and it helps promote our industry associations. Energy Star, you did see the Energy Star logo on a true item, and I can go into KCL, and again, there's the filters. So if you're Energy Star compliant, you can show up in this list, which is more and more important as states are changing the rules. If you don't see your items listed with the Energy Star logo, let us know. We can work with you on getting that done together. We do get the data from Energy Star every week. Sometimes your model numbers don't match what you submitted to Energy Star and need a little bit of help. So how do you create your content? That comes up all the time. We have on our website a page you can find the list of recommended contractors. We can always email it to you as well. These 5 companies have been creating CAD and Revit files for multiple manufacturers, working with KCL for many years. They do a good job. The files come out right the first time. And that is much better for you to do it right the first time than to put information out there and find out that, hey, our Revit files aren't good files. So here's our list, and you can always contact us for that information. How do you get data to KCL? Well, real easy. I mean, any way you want to. Email, OneDrive, Google, WeTransfer. They come in different methods. It depends how big your update is. For small updates, we go with email. When you have large files, go ahead and just share us a link to whatever service you use. To work with KCL, we have a spreadsheet. It's a standard Excel file. This is an example of some of the information. Your model number, the category. If you use a recommended contractor, they can fill out the DWG name and the Revit name area. We have your model number box. We give you the ability to archive items so they don't show. Obsolete items. If I want to look at a manufacturer, I'm going to go over to Crown. And I scroll through. I'm going to show you here. It's red for obsolete. All you're doing is putting a Y in the box, and it'll change to red. Tells you it's obsolete in a couple places. Maybe you still want to keep the CAD and Revit files. That way, if someone has a project that's in progress, or maybe they have the equipment already, they can still use it. You also have the ability to say replaced by. You put the new model number and we'll tell people, hey, when they're looking at the old model number, no, go use this instead. Again, we make it a color, and you have the option of leaving the data for people to access. Paragraph spec, that's what it is. You can make it a paragraph, you can make it a really long paragraph. For image name and PDF, one big time saver that we've done this year is you can provide us URLs for these 2 fields. You don't have to send us PDFs or JPEG or PNG images anymore. Just put the URL in the spreadsheet. Again, happy to work with you one-on-one if you want to go through some of these details. Doc links, it's just your label. What do you want us to display equal the link? If you have documents that you need us to host, we can host them for you at no additional fee, but you can see a YouTube link or link back to KCL. It's very simple. It's in Excel, not really a lot of work. It's just a matter of putting in that time to get us started. If you want to provide list price or additional keywords, I'm going to show you one of my favorite examples. Okay, we're going to try to get KCL back on the screen. There we go. I'm going to clear my search. So I'm looking at 150,000 items, but I need a drum roller. Well, Air King breading system is called a drum roll automated breader. They gave us one additional key phrase, drum roller, and they pop up right away. So this is valuable if you want to look at your competitors, if you have unique words that describe your product. It just makes it more visible and easier to find in the world of all of our manufacturers and items. So doc links and additional categories are really important. Doc links are very helpful. I mentioned usage reports, and this is going to tell you the type of user. Due to privacy laws in Europe, California, and other places, it does not tell you exactly who. It also tells you where they're located. Along with that, what are your top 10 models? For manufacturers that have hundreds or thousands of models, knowing their top 10 is important, but we actually will list it out all the way down to a single use. That's usage report is an Excel file that you can sort and search through. Again, graphic charts to show you what's happening. This is an example of your top 10 models, but it keeps going down the list. So we want to highlight what's important, but we'll also give you the raw data in an Excel file. So usage reports are included with your listing fee. They're sent monthly during the night. Just show up in your inbox to whomever you would like us to share it with. So we're going to recap this. We want you to have a premium listing in KCL. The premium listing is including the CAD, Revit, the doc links, additional categories. We want you to maximize your use of KCL. Napkin sketch. If your salespeople want to use it, customer service can use it. You don't need CAD and Revit to create simple designs that are dimensionally correct. Embedded hosting, this is optional. I would say the majority of our manufacturers, probably about 180, have this, mostly the ones that have a good number of items. If you're a manufacturer with 10 items or less, talk to us about what we can help you with that you don't, I don't know if the embedded hosting is really what you want. But we have so many manufacturers, it's become an industry standard on how to use it. Again, we talked about the usage reports. Use those reports. Make sure those top 10 models have keywords, have doc links, have the updated CAD and Revit files along with spec sheets. The new things that we're doing, whether they're buying group filters, private label, let us know how we can help your team out. And if you need to get in touch with me, there's my contact information. If you screenshot or grab this tiny URL, that we can schedule a one-on-one meeting with your team. I take support calls, I take the emails, I will set this up with you. Even after almost 38 years doing this, we're here to help. We want to be your trusted partner. Thank you very much for joining us today.